In my 110 trips, I've had passengers who range in age from 10 to 84. One of my favorite passengers was that 10-year-old, Nathan Lucky. He came with his 12-year-old brother and his parents. He'd been raised near the Bob Marshall Wilderness in northern Montana, so he was a pretty wilderness-smart kid. And I totally related to him. He was small for his age and looked young. When I was in the 8th grade, I weighed 65 pounds. I was small. I was cute. Well, Nathan's job every day was to carry the bags, the waterproof bags that contained clothing and sleeping equipment, to wherever his parents picked the campsite. So we're towards the lower end of the canyon on one night. We had selected a long beach, which unfortunately is no longer there, to camp at. The rafts were parked at the downstream end of the beach. Nathan's parents picked a campsite far upstream. And I can still see him as I'm walking by the water towards the rafts. Here comes little Nathan. He's got a Pepsi in one hand and a waterproof bag in the other. He stopped and looked me in the eye. Then he looked at the rafts. And he looked me in the eye. And he looked at his campsite. And he looked me back in the eye. And he said, I'm going to be 11 before I get all these bags to camp. Not 10-year-old humor. But here's the point. Next year, we're all going to be 11 or 31 or 51 or 71. And my question is, what are the unimagined gifts that await us? I think it's something that's really important for kids in particular, but for all of us, because kids want so badly to be accepted by their peer groups. So here's what the 5 perceptions of humans says. No matter who you are, no matter what you do or how you do it, so how well you do it, how poorly you do it, somebody's going to like you, somebody's going to dislike you, somebody's going to love you, somebody's going to hate you, and somebody's going to be neutral about you. Now, here's the good news. It's never about you, because you're reflecting something back to them. So the next time one of your kids or your grandkids complains that so-and-so hates them, offer them this gift. It's what I call the world's greatest book title. The author is Terry Cole Whitaker. The title is, What You Think of Me is None of My Business, because it's not about me. So here's the story. There's a Native American and his Anglo friend. They're walking in Manhattan at noon. Imagine Manhattan at noon with all that cacophony, tires screeching, honking cars, people yelling. They're just walking along when suddenly the Native American puts a finger to his lips and he goes, "Shh, did you hear that?" His Anglo friend looked at him and said, "Hear what?" Native American said, "The cricket." His Anglo friend looked at him with disbelief and said, "Yeah, right. You just heard a cricket. With all this noise, where's this cricket supposed to be?" Over there in that planter across the street. Now he's really skeptical. No way. Show me this cricket. So they walked over, across the street. He rummaged through all the styrofoam cups, the throwaways from McDonald's and Burger King, and the cigarette butts, and he picked up a black cricket. And his friend looked at him and said, "That is amazing. How did you do that?" Again, he put a finger to his lips, reached into his pocket, pulled out a bunch of coins, held them out, opened his hands, and dropped the coins to the pavement. 20 people stopped and stared. And then he said, "It all depends on where you put your attention." So we all have the power of choice all the time. Use that power. Walk around the wheel if you don't like the viewing point that you're looking at things at. Take responsibility for yourself, the choices you make and the outcomes you get. And always remember, it only depends on where you put your attention. Life is an adventure, truly an adventure. especially when you're willing to extend your curiosity and live in the wonderment and the miracle and the magic. So, I wish you happy journeys, and I thank you.